imagine you've read the title of this video and have gone, what the hell is this about? Let me explain. A while ago, for some of you that have not been with the channel as long as some of you that have, you'll have seen this video, where I did a video called Yay for the Female Gamer. I was explaining why women are just as important to gaming as men are. And I hold true to these statements that I made in the video. And there's been some articles buzzing about recently and some talk buzzing about recently about, you know, the over-sexualization of women in gaming and games characters and what that means for the industry and what it means to the impact upon the female gamer and us, and including male gamers, you know, because male gamers also too get over-sexualized, but nowhere near to the degree that women do in video games. Now, of course, there's always going to be an argument back and forth about, well, it's a medium that's based in fiction. And yes, there are stylistic choices to be made depending on each game and each style of game and how you want the characters to be perceived on screen. But there is also, you know, points to be made for, you know, how you're actually going to have people look. If all the men look relatively standard, you know, then why can't the women look standard? You know, if you've got Trevor Phillips who's, you know, losing it on top, poor guy, then surely you can have women who've got a little bit of a gunt, you know, or, you know, you've got Michael who's a wee bit overweight, you know, but you can still move. Then surely you could have female characters who are a bit short, you know, rather than these tall, leggy, big boobed blondes. But then, you know, you've also got your Marcus Phoenix and your Kratos who are huge and cut, which is, you know, has its place. Which then means, you know, you can have women who are muscular. I know women, and I've known women that work out. In my martial arts life, I have met many women who I've got, you know, some proper tone on them. I mean, they're properly toned and can throw you about left, right and centre, and they're shorter than me or taller than me. I've even met some martial artists, both male and female, who are heavy set. In fact, think of Sammo Hung. You know, he ain't no slender boy. And, you know, so I personally believe that gaming itself is a forward-facing, forward-looking medium. You know, it is the most advanced medium we have, and it's only set to get bigger and better. And the only one of the ways it gets bigger and better is by becoming broader, more accepting, and picking from every tree on the apple. Sorry, every apple on the tree. Got that messed up. Anyway, you know, so I think it's important that I now show you some examples, just a couple of pictures with some descriptions of women that have made gaming part of what it is.
Kay Raymond, instrumental in the creation of Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed 2, Watch Dogs, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Blacklist, and much more. Christian Duval had a large hand in bringing us NFL, FIFA, NBA, NHL, and NBL games, also including Halo 3, Fable 2, Age of Empires 3. Pauline Jacouet, although I know I'm saying that wrong, but I'm rubbish at French. The managing director at Ubisoft Reflections, responsible for us having Rayman 2, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, Tom Clancy's The Division, The Crew, and plenty more. Kathy Pearson, the publisher at Game Informer, a well-respected source of news and reviews. Now I'm going to say this wrong and I apologise in advance. Shobana Reddy, studio director and founder at the awesome and always inventive Media Molecule. And if you need me to tell you the achievements, then there's no hope for you. Bonnie Ross, a corporate vice president with 343 Industries, gifted gamers with Halo the Master Chief Collection and Halo 5 Guardians. As for the history of gaming / programming, the term debugging came from Grace Hopper, who invented the first compiler for a computer program language, who would routinely climb into the massive old-time computers to rid it of insects.
Hope you enjoyed that little show of all those women that have been absolutely instrumental to the past, the present, and I would also reckon the future of games and gaming. Especially Grace Hopper, who I intend to make a video about at some later point, because quite frankly, she was an absolute legend. I mean, just a remarkable woman. And yeah. So, I'm going to depart from my usual thing here. Now, normally you're used to seeing me just ad-lib and speak from off the top of my head. Generally well-informed top of head, but still off the top of my head. I like to improv it most of the time. But when I was actually reading about all these different women that you've now just seen, I cut the information down and make sure this video doesn't go on for like 16 years. But when I was reading about these women, it got me thinking. And with all the recent brouhaha that's been stormed up in this sort of sexualization of women and how women are treated in games media and in gaming press and by, you know, certain sectors of the male gaming public, it's had me thinking. So I've got these thoughts here written down, and I wanted to make sure that I had exactly what I wanted to say. I didn't want to miss anything out. I wanted to make sure that exactly what I was thinking. So I wrote it down, and I intend to read it for you. And this is what I believe, okay? The only reason most folk think that computer technology is just for men is down to marketing. Yeah, because, like, you know, ads don't lie. But when you get right down to it, you know, it's like, you know, adverts have always been, you know, the men are the ones that make the wages, they're the ones that spend the pounds or the dollars or blah 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 blah, and they're the ones that make the family choices and spend the money, and and men are important. Fact of the matter is, women are just as important. Women are in the workplace, women are in the military, they're in police service, they're in health service, they're in fire, rescue, they're in mining. Do you know there are actually more women in the mining industry than there are in the games industry? Let that sink in for a minute. There are more women mining. There are more women underground digging stuff out inside the planet than there are in gaming. Really, guys? You want to say that women have no place in gaming? If women can go down a mine shaft and risk their life for, like, diamonds and coal and gold and whatever else, I think women can be gamers and programmers and stuff. Whew. You know, and this is why we're still struggling to bring gaming attitudes into the 21st century. Like the tech we have, the stories and the characters and the character models need to be being more representative to us, and mostly not over-sexualized. You know, it's like, as I was saying before at the beginning of the video, you know, it's like, look, you know, you got these incredibly large men, and I have a penis. You know, it's like, really? It's like, and you've got these 6 foot, 7 foot tall, you know, like, Olympian god women, you know, it's like, each of them is built like Wonder Woman, you know, and then half the time they don't even give them a personality. It's like, please, if you're going to have good narrative, you've got to have good characters to carry the narrative forward. Makes sense. I mean, hell, books and movies have been doing that since time immemorial. Well, mostly books. I mean, movies have only been going a short time, and you know, we've all seen some dodgy movies, you know. And it's like, and these super perfect eye candies that we see is like, and it does affect males, and it does portray a bad image for games. It makes us all look terrible, you know. It makes us look like we're all body obsessed, you know. And there's some gamers, you know, that work out, and there's some gamers that clearly don't. But you know what? There's people. People are people. It's that simple. It's like, and it is a problem when we objectify our sisters in gaming. I mean, these people, you know, when you actually look at it, that's what they are. They're people. These are the people that are our mothers, our sisters, you know, our daughters, you know. I mean, as some of you might be aware, I'm a dad, right? And when you have a kid, you tend to think about, you know, how children are growing up, whether they be boy or girl or whatever. Because, you know, if you have a male child, your male child is going to be friendly with other little kids, you know. And some of those, and half of those little kids, on average, are gonna be girls. And you, whenever you look and spend time around little people, you always consider the future, what it's going to be like for them growing up, you know. And you have to worry about these things, because if we keep going the same direction we've always been going, then we're going to end up with all these wee lasses who don't get involved in science, don't get involved in coding, and, you know, just think that they have to be giggly little things that know how to put on makeup and do stuff on Instagram, and don't argue and don't settle back and, you know, have and pop out babies, you know. Women are important, alright? Women have been in the space program, women have been nuclear scientists, you know, there've been all kinds of things. Women have been great novelists, you know, and will continue to be and do interesting things. Look at Hillary Clinton. You may not agree with her politics, depending on what side of the political divide you're on, but, you know, she's making strides to be America's first female president. And if you want to talk female leaders you can't argue with, look at Aung San Suu Kyi. Remarkable woman, you know? And some women who have pushed things forward for all humankind, you know? There have been great people who have been women who have pushed us forward, and that needs to continue on in gaming. The world's, as far as my opinion is concerned, greatest storytelling medium. You know? And it's just important, you know? The more voices we have, the more diversity they have, more quality that we have, the better. We have to adapt and change, or we die out. That's the same in evolution, and I believe it to be the same in gaming. We need to have all kinds of voices coming together, people from all kinds of backgrounds, so that make games a more rounded, richer experience, that, you know, give us stories alike that we never would have come up with like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you know, 25, 30 years ago. When you think back to the 70s of gaming, it was limited, but not by the technology, you know. They were always coming up with ideas, and now with all this technology, there is no reason for us to be limited in any way. We need to spread forward in every angle, in story creation, in character creation, in the way that we control games, in the way that we discuss narrative, especially with the onset of VR. You know, this is important stuff. You know, I know I'm going on a lot here, guys, but I feel quite passionately about this, you know. I want gaming to become bigger and better and stronger and more important, you know. Like I say, adapt and change or die out, you know. So, you know, with all this, I think that, you know, the basic message is stop the hate. And I'm not just talking about the console wars, you know, Xbox versus Sony versus Nintendo versus PC. That's small potatoes. Important as that is, in the great scheme of things, in this particular video's point, it's small potatoes. Yes, we need to remove the hatred of the cross-system war, because it is meaningless, because we all have the plastic box we enjoy for the reasons we enjoy it, and those reasons are valid to every single person. But when you get right down to it, we can't be doing any kind of hate. We need to remove the sex hate, we need to remove the race hate, we need to remove the sex hate. You know, I've got friends that are gay, straight, bi, transgender, and they're all cool. They're all my mates, and I see them as one because they're my mates. And most importantly, they're human beings. And human beings are great at telling each other stories. We've been doing it since the dawn of time, around campfires, telling each other stories. That's what we do. And the more the people we have, the greater the wealth of experience and of life knowledge that we can bring to the gaming sphere. Our medium would become undeniable because you're able to interact with it. As you well know, an interactive medium that's able to draw from every facet of humanity. How can you argue with that? I mean, it's just what we need. It's what's important. It is the true next step of gaming. I really honestly believe that. Once we have embraced each other's differences and turned them into our similarities, wow, the possibilities for gaming are endless. And quite frankly, if we can do it in gaming, you know, one of the most argumentative forms there is. I mean, you look at any comment section, any video on gaming on YouTube or Daily Motion or whatever you like, you know, it's one of the most argument making divisive things it could possibly be. You know, if we could get some form of consensus in gaming and we could spread that out, imagine if people could be sitting in a 50 to 100 years time going, wow man, when you trace it back, gaming was part of the reason everything's so cool now. Can you imagine that? That would be so awesome. That gaming could have fixed the world. We could do it. We just have to start here. Okay? We have to change that mindset. We have to drop the hate. We have to drop the mistrust. We have to become inclusive. We have to fold in everybody. You know? Disabled people, black people, white, Chinese, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I personally don't care if you paint yourself purple, walk down Princess Street with a frog in your head, declaring that the universe is ruled by a gigantic bespotted goat. As long as you don't hurt anybody and try to make everybody else believe what you believe, on you go. And if we can have that kind of thinking and bring that in to gaming, wow. In the words of Charlie Sheen, winning. Anyway guys, I think I've rambled on quite long enough with this video, but I just wanted to get this out. I know it's not as strictly as gaming a video as what I usually make, and it's a bit more standing on my soapbox, but I thought it was important. And if you've made it to this portion of the video, you've gotten right to the end, one, I thank you, and two, I'd really love to drop the hashtag in the comment section below of winning. That's hashtag winning in the comment section below to let me know that you got this far in the video. Okie dokie? That'd be awesome. Anyway, whee! I'm going to close this video the way I always do. Please remember to rate, favourite, comment, share and subscribe. And of course, as always, aye, nae bother.